All right, it's 10 a.m. Let's get started, folks. Good morning. Welcome to Financial Bootcamp for Small Business Owners, Series 1 by Ms. Lorna Whitaker. Today is the third session of the series, and we'll talk about budgeting and cash flow management. Very important. My name is Jeannie Yang, and I'm a business and loan counselor at PACE. Thank you for joining us today. This webinar is brought to you in partnership with the City of LA Economic and Workforce Development Department and BusinessSource Pico-Union Westlake Region, operated by PACE Business Development Center. This webinar will be recorded, and at the end of the webinar, we'll ask you to participate on a survey. So please make sure that you complete the survey, and it's going to help us to build our future webinars. And then before we begin, let me do a quick introduction on PACE. Pacific Asian Consortium in Employment. We are a nonprofit organization. We're established in 1976. And, already it's been 50 years. Wow. That's a long time. So from business and workforce development to utility bill assistance, housing, and education, our 5 departments are equipped with the necessary services to tackle poverty and economic inequity in diverse communities across the Los Angeles since 1976. So we offer one-on-one business counseling, credit and asset building, business and financial plan development, webinars and training, just like today's, to help you establish a brand new business or assist you with your current business. And we can also help you get into the procurement contracts. So if you have any questions about our services, products, or any other lending products, please visit our website, pacelabdc.org, for more information. All right, let's get started, Lorna. So excited. Oh, forgot to mention, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone. Well, this is a great time of year to start looking at these things. I got one little chat response here. So Lene says that she's in the beginning stages of planning her business and wanting to learn as much as possible. This is fantastic. So today we're going to be doing the budgeting and cash flow management conversation of this 4-part series. So remember that at any stage of your business, these are tools that you can use to get your footing back underneath you. Cash flow is a place where people they really start to feel the pain. And we want you to be able to be out in front of it instead of behind it. I had a client that didn't know that he was in cash flow distress until he went to buy a birthday present for his niece, a soccer ball, and his wife said, "We don't have any money in the bank account." And he goes, "But I'm making all this money." She said, "We don't have any money." And so they weren't actually doing any bookkeeping or anything up to that point, and realized that they needed to do a better job with the cash flow management and to start looking how to stop the bleeding and figuring out where their money was going to. So we're going to go ahead and get started. One of the things that I really would like to share with you is that so for the entrepreneur, budgeting is the gateway to abundance. It really is a place where we start having the conversation about our money. Now, if you were able to attend December's presentations, they were on the ABCs of bookkeeping and accounting and the ABCs of financial statements. These are fundamental elements every business owner needs to know about: how to use them, how to read their reports, how to make sure their bookkeeping is accurate, what their numbers are saying, those kinds of things. One of the things that particularly early stage business owners don't realize is that budgeting for the entrepreneur is a very different conversation than budgeting for an individual. So if you're an employee, you have a certain amount of income. It's kind of a fixed income. You can predict how much money you're going to have coming in, and then you have to figure out how you're going to allocate it to all of the things: your mortgage or rent, your groceries, your car insurance, your gasoline, your car repairs, all of these things, utilities. It can really add up in a hurry. Spending money, going out to dinner, all of those things. Now, the conversation about budgeting for a business owner is very, very different. It's a different mindset. It's not a mindset about limits. It's not about a mindset of scarcity. It's a mindset about abundance. So what we do is we figure out what we're spending, how to manage our cash flow, and then how to grow our businesses, which is frankly what Thursday's presentation is going to be. It's going to be on forecasting and planning, but we're just going to touch a little bit upon it today. So I intend to have some time at the end for questions and answers. However, you can put your chats in or write something down so you don't forget what you want to ask, because it seems like every time I get to the end of my presentation, I go, do you have any questions? We just get crickets because all of a sudden your minds are spinning. So I want to make this as easy as possible for you. I know that it's a complex conversation, and in an hour, we really are going to just give you some fundamental pieces, okay? So here's what you got to know as a business owner. There is no amount of budgeting and there's no amount of cutting costs that will ever make up for not making enough money, okay? Growing your business is an ongoing process, no matter whether you've been in business 3 months, 3 years, or 30 years. You constantly have to be assessing where you are, designing how you want to proceed, and then implementing those kinds of things. A short disclaimer about me. I'm a business consultant, financial strategist, and a skills trainer, okay? I'm an educator. I'm not an attorney, a CPA, or a licensed tax professional, and I cannot and do not give legal or tax advice. However, legal and tax conversations are a big part of what business owners need to know. And so you need to seek out professionals for those conversations. What I do is I empower others by sharing with them proven techniques, strategies, and skills that you need to know to create businesses that are sustainable. None of us was born knowing this stuff, okay? We all have to learn it. And this is what it takes to create a profitable and well-run business. A little bit about me. So what I know at this point is that savvy business owners make more money. And I can really congratulate you for taking the time out of your busy days to be here with me. My purpose is to show you how to transform the way to run your business and manage it. When money management is easier and more efficient and takes less time, you have time to do what you love. It takes more than ambition and hard work for us to achieve our goals. We need know-how. And for the past 3 decades, I have been curating the very best, most effective strategies, insight, and tools that are essential for making and having money. Some of what you think you know about money management is not true. So we're going to try to drill down and get you to those things that are fundamental and elemental that anyone can use. A little more about me. You will get a copy of this slide deck. I will send it over to the host and they will make it available for you if you wish to download it. But just know that I use these exact same techniques to triple my income my second year in business. My first year was like, are you kidding me? My second year, I said, I can do this more efficiently. So, and I have helped clients create the financial stability and extraordinary growth. And I've had 2 clients go from being local startups to international contenders. So I've led 600 in-person online workshops since 2008. And I estimate that I have trained over 1,500 entrepreneurs. I want to inspire you to take action. I want you to embrace how powerful, good, effective, efficient money management is for creating a comfortable financial future. Financial savvy is learned. None of us was born knowing this stuff. 81% of business owners handle their finances themselves. I applaud that. I think that's really important. I think that's important. You need to know what's going on with your money. You need to understand it at a really elementary level, okay? Without it, you have to rely on somebody else, and they will never care about your business the way that you do. 66% of small business owners wish they knew more about their finances. So, welcome. Here we go. Today, we're going to cover some fundamental elements of creating a budget. Super simple, but folks, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is work you have to do. You can't just think about it. You need data in order to actually be able to make effective decisions. Okay. Then we're going to talk more about how to manage cash flow. Some businesses come to me when they're hemorrhaging money, just hemorrhaging money. And we have to figure out how to stop it. And we need to figure out how to start paying the bills, how to bring in more money, which is ultimately what it takes to pay the bills. And then we will move into some strategic planning. We're going to do more of that on Thursday, but I'm going to give you some outlines today. And then we're going to talk about some best practices. So, creating a budget. Now, this may sound really simple, and the concept is, but getting down to it and actually doing the work may be harder for some of you, depending on what information you have at your fingertips. So if you're just starting out in business, you may not have much in the way of a profit and loss report, a P&L report. If you've been in business for a while, you can pull any level. You can 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. You can run it by month or by quarter or by year. Drop it into an Excel type document, convert the numbers into either numbers or currency or accounting so that you can work with them. Okay. And the purpose of this exercise is to determine the average of your monthly expenses and cash needs. So the cash needs may be things that are on your balance sheet. For example, a payment for a truck. Okay. A payment for a loan. If you're a sole proprietor, the money you put in your own pocket, these are not expenses. You don't see them on the profit and loss report. And way too many business owners have never received that little piece of information. But not everything you see on your profit and loss report that bring in your net income, okay, are things that are part of your cash flow conversation. So if you're just starting in business, one of the things you can do is start doing some estimates. You can ask questions. Well, how much will my insurance cost? How much will my rent cost? How much money do I need to put into my own pocket? If I have inventory, how much inventory will I have? If I'm invoicing and not getting paid today, how much money do I need to have in the bank to sustain me until I do get paid? These are some big conversations. Break them down into smaller pieces. I think you've probably heard it. The way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time. Do not overwhelm with the amount of information you think that you need to have. Start with a few pieces. Write them down. Create a worksheet for yourself in Excel so that you can start planning this stuff. All right? The total of your monthly average is the minimum amount of gross income you need each month. Okay, so everything that you have on your profit and loss and on your balance sheet that you need for cash, that's how much money you need to bring in gross. Money in, money out. Now, some people, this really scares them the first time that they do it. But this is where that strategic stuff starts to happen for you. You're going, well, what do I absolutely have to have? What do I need to have? What do I want to have? This is a powerful conversation I have with my clients all the time. Have to, need to, want to. Okay, maybe I don't have the money right now for rent. Okay, if it's a household, I'm going to buy my groceries first, call my landlord, said I'm going to be a little bit late, and pay that. Maybe I need to use a credit card to float a little cash flow for right now. But think about the problem and then find the solution. And this is where you start removing the stress because you're planning, you're getting strategic, you're starting to take action on things that are going to make a difference, things that are important to you. So we've talked a little bit about this in last month's presentations. I just want to get it back up in front of you. So this is a cash basis profit and loss report. All right. We're not going to do a lot of detail on this. We're just going to look at it. So this is what the report would look like. What kind of money do I have it coming in? Cost of goods is did it cost me to make that money? So if I'm selling something, a widget, Okay, if I'm selling something, what did it cost me to buy that in the first place? And what is my gross profit? Well, my gross profit is the amount of money that I sold less what it cost me to make that money. That's my gross profit. And then I have my various expenses that are deductible for my business. And then I have my what's taxable. The taxable part is really an important conversation for making estimated tax payments. Everybody absolutely hates that big tax bill after the end of the year that they weren't planning for. Let's have that conversation now. Your CPA can guide you, your tax professional can guide you. How much money do I need to plan for? Basically, if you just want a round number, 20%. 20% of that bottom number is going to be taxable. It might be less. It might be more. The thing is that you want to get that conversation going, because the more money you make, the more money you'll pay in taxes. Now, gross profit. And then let's look at this one here. So my gross profit is, I'm showing, let's see, this is cash basis. So this is a different kind of report. So I have my gross profit in this example is $42,000, and my expenses are just under $19,000. Okay, so I must make at least $19,000 to cover all of my business expenses, the cash needs of my business. However, there are more cash needs. So if I need to buy more inventory, okay, to replace what I sold, then I need to have that. That's cash. That doesn't come off my profit and loss. All right. Then I have any notes or loans that I need to pay, my credit card payments, my owner's draws or distributions that are not seen on my profit and loss report. These are also cash needs. So we have to make sure that we're planning on that, because you can see that after all of those things, I don't have enough money for everything. We have to turn that around. We have to turn that around by planning for it and getting strategic. Okay, so that's just kind of the big bird's eye view of the budgeting. So we're going to start saying, how much money do I need? Okay, how much money do I need? That's budgeting. Now, once we do that, then we start managing cash flow. How am I going to actually manage my cash needs? So for most businesses, the bank account is the simplest and most useful cash management tool you have. Watch it, pay attention to it. Now, if you're using some kind of accounting software, remember that you may be writing checks that haven't cleared the bank yet. You need to know, do you have checks on their way to the bank that the bank doesn't know about yet? So you have to keep that always present, front of mind. Oh, this is how much money the bank says I have. Oh, but that check that I wrote for $1,500, that hasn't cleared yet. I have to subtract that because I need to know that I don't actually have that money. I've already promised that money to somebody else. Otherwise, your bank account is a great tool for finding out what your standing is. And in today's environment, where a lot of money is leaving our bank accounts electronically through debit cards, the Venmo accounts, whatever, it's great. It's really, really great, because it's happening in what I call real time cash flow management. I can see those transactions very, very quickly in my bank account. So if you don't have it as an app on your phone, be sure to get one so you can always check in. How am I doing on my cash? And also, I encourage you to have a savings account that you can keep a little extra money in, that you can move into your bank account should something come up that you need to pay for, or that you didn't plan for, or you forgot to expect. And then the next thing to do is to start with the creation of a simple dashboard. Okay, it's going to be an Excel type document worksheet that shows you cash on hand and upcoming cash needs by date. I'm going to show you one that's a little bit more complex, not much. And then I'm going to show you a really simplified version just to help you get going. In the beginning, it will feel difficult. Okay, it might feel a little challenging. Again, this is that place where you a little bit of practice, you'll start understanding it, you'll see where you've made a mistake, you'll go, how can that be true? How can that not be true? Those kinds of things. Spend a little time with it, you will understand it. So when do we do it? First thing Monday morning. First thing Monday morning, we update our dashboard. Okay, you can color code it if you want to. You're going to be looking at the have tos and the need tos and the want tos for upcoming payments. And one of the stories that I would say that how powerful this really is that I had a client who was a landscaper, and his Fridays were usually pretty awful for him and for his employees, because his payroll was once a week and it was every Friday. And his employees learned that if they did not get into the office before noon and get their check on Friday, okay, before noon, and run it to the bank and cash it, their checks would bounce. Their payroll checks would bounce. If they deposited them, okay, or even picked them up late Friday afternoon and deposited them on Saturday, Monday they would bounce. Why? Because he never had the money on hand to pay the payroll. This became a huge problem for him. And he was always waiting until Friday morning to start running around and trying to collect money, because he had a $5,000 payroll once a week. And yet he never had the money on hand. So what I did for him was said, well, we have to stop this. This doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for your employees. And running around to your vendors all morning on Friday doesn't actually, your clients start to go, huh? So we had him do it on Monday. On Monday morning, if they had $5,000 in the bank, they had enough money for payroll, which meant they could not pay anything else until they had more money in the bank account. Make sense? If you got $5,000, you have no more money other than what you have to cover your payroll and payroll taxes. Okay, let's say he had only $4,000 or $3,000. That meant that Monday and Tuesday, he had better get busy making his collections, getting more money into the bank account. And again, he could spend absolutely nothing. He could pay no liabilities or bills. He couldn't pay anything until he had that $5,000. And then if he exceeded the $5,000, then his bookkeeper had permission to spend and pay down any bills that they might need to pay during the week, as long as she never, ever went below $5,000. It absolutely changed the entire nature of his business, because he always knew that he had money for payroll. He didn't have to worry about the payroll. His bookkeeper had specific instructions on how to manage the cash, and they stopped having all this stress. They had a happier business owner and happier employees. Okay, so this is a really important thing to do, particularly if you're in cash flow distress. Okay, and you'll know it, you will feel it. So if you're not using accounts payable, now accounts payable is where you're recording into your software the bills that you know that are coming. If you're not using software, get started now. Get started now, because this gets too complex as your business grows to manage with paper and pencil and loose pieces of paper all over your desk. Okay? Getting it into accounts payable allows you to see when something is due and to plan for it. And either you're going to be able to pay it or you're going to have to bump it a little bit. But this is again, that's a strategy conversation that you're having with yourself about your money. Perfect. So you want to know how much you owe. And then on the dashboards, you're going to see how I'm managing automatic payments too. Okay. Now, you're going to look for ways to reduce your expenditures. This is really smart. One of the best places to look for is like workers' comp insurance or other insurance. There might be other ways for you to reduce your expenditures. Again, you got to make more money. Okay, if you're in cash flow distress, it's all about making more sales. It's all about making more money. This is where business owners have a real advantage, because they're not on a fixed income. They get to create their income. It's a conversation about making more money. However, when we're managing cash flow, we are going to look at ways to reduce our expenditures. Okay. It's also part of budgeting. Say, well, when I'm deciding about a new expenditure, look at your budget for guidance. Okay. Can I really afford this? If you've got to buy a new truck, okay, can I really afford to buy a new truck? If I need tires for the truck, wow, there's an expenditure. Do I have the money for that? How am I going to manage that? And that's where starting to get a little bit of a cushion makes a difference. Okay. Do you need 6 months cushion? Not for a business. A few weeks, a couple of months, be excellent. However, just have some cushion because unexpected expenditures show up. So we need to be able to do that. And so I just remind you that the law of profitability one is make more money than you spend. I know, sounds like a no-brainer. However, we forget that that's what we have to pay attention to, make more money. Okay, so this is a sample dashboard. This is a 6-week dashboard. The recommendation about a 6-week dashboard or a 6-week planning strategy that allows us to really get out in front of our money so that we really know what's going on hand. So we're going to be looking at what's in our bank account, and we're going to look to see what our expenses are and when they're going to show up. So as you're doing this, you're going to be saying how much money is in the bank account. You're going to add to this dashboard every week. So, we're going to say, well, okay, I need to have this amount of money in there. I need to have, and next week I'll have this amount of money. This is where I'm starting. Look at all these expenses. Am I going to be able to pay those? And you'll just be updating this every week as you go, and you can do a little planning. And you can see that I've actually planned out some of the known expenses. Okay, so for example, I know that I've got a payroll coming up and payroll taxes, and then I see a telephone bill, and I've got some other things. So it's really based on your business. This is just an example. Just an example. I do see a question here about owners' draws and distributions. Perfect, Linda. I will answer that question. So I'm going to answer it when I get to, I think, my third slide next. Okay, so great question. Okay, so this is how it looks. It's going to be based on your particular needs and the particular status of your business. And that's why you want to use Excel, so that you just go in and make the changes, all right, as you go along and get out in front of it. I find that for many of us that a 6-week projection is a little bit too much information, a little bit hard to manage. And if something gets hard to do, we stop doing it. I don't want that to be the case for you. I want you to just keep doing it. So then here again, this is what we're paying attention to, particularly managing the rent, looking at what our remaining cash on hand is. If we don't have enough money for the things that we're having to spend the money on, we have to get after it. If we have receivables that we haven't collected, go out and collect them. Okay. I find that my clients get the very best support when I say to them, okay, you've looked at this, you know what you're confronted with, now go out and make money. Look for ways to make a sale. Look for opportunities. Do what I call revenue relevant. If you've not collected on your invoices, go. If you have jobs to do, go get them done. Bill them. Move the money forward. Keep doing it. But paying attention to making money is the most powerful piece of running a business. I don't want to dismiss that. Managing your money, that's also important, and it's very powerful in what the results that you get. However, never miss out on the opportunities to make more money, to make the sales, find new clients. Very important piece. Okay, so this is a different form that I just recently created for a really big company. They have a $53,000 payroll every 2 weeks. Okay. Very, very important that we get on top of this, because every 2 weeks, at every what's called a biweekly payroll, every few months, about 2 times a year, you're going to have 3 payrolls in 1 month. For them, it's $150,000. Okay. And their cash flow wasn't supporting it. So we had to find out why, and we had to fix it. Okay. So we were managing it for the last probably 5 months by looking at it every week, and we were only looking at 3 weeks out. Okay, we did a little bit more kind of behind the scenes. Okay, when is that extra payroll going to hit? So you could do it more, you could do it 6 weeks, but we found that this really, really was helpful in saying, okay, if we're managing it a little tighter, then we can see where our money is going to and what our needs are. Now, Linda asked the question about the owner's draw and how that works. So you'll see that further down here, I don't know if you can see my mouse here, the $1,000. Let's say that this business owner needs about $2,000 a month into their bank account. I got to tell you, I don't know really any business owner that can live on $2,000 a month. Not in California. It's just really tough. It's really tough. You probably need closer to $4,000 or $5,000 a month. But I use this as an example. So how an owner's draw works is that if you're a sole proprietor, okay, you cannot get paid from your business through payroll. Payroll is an expense to your business. So you don't get paid that way. Your money comes out from just the bank account and shows up on your balance sheet under the owner's draws. And so this means that when we're looking at, and let me back up here. This is great. So let me back up here. Here. Okay, so we have our sales and our cost of goods, and we have our gross profit, and we have our ordinary business expenses. The rent, the phone, the cable, the internet, marketing, whatever those are, we have our ordinary expenses. Those are our cash needs that are on the profit and loss report. However, the owner's draw, you'll see, is in the other cash needs. It's here. The owner's draw, you'll see I said it's $5,000, and that's how it should be. Most businesses need that. $5,000 is what is drawn out. This is a cash flow need, not a business expense. Now, if you're a corporation or an LLC and receiving a payroll check, then your money comes out up here under the expenses place and does not necessarily come out here, although some businesses have it come out in both places because they just get a minimum payroll and then they take a little more cash out of their business. And this number here that comes out of your business is not taxable. And so specifically for you, Linda, I would have you go and look at those recordings for the ABC's bookkeeping and accounting, those two from in December. So hope that's a little helpful, gives you a little more information about this. It's a huge conversation for business owners. I'm really glad that Linda asked it because it comes up all the time. What about my owner's draw? What about the money I need to put into my pocket to pay for my bills? And you'll see that I have it here. Okay. But let's look at this truck loan. Okay. So for this one company I was working with, all of a sudden they said, our truck loan just hit. It was $1,500. It was auto pay. We didn't realize it was on auto pay. It came right out of our bank account. We weren't expecting it. And I said, that's because nobody had a bill in accounts payable to show that it was coming. We needed to know it. So I put it on their cash flow report so that I always knew when that truck loan was going to be due. Now I'm trying to manage when is my rent due? My rent is due in that first week of the month. So that's what I'm going to expect to come out. And you'll see I don't have any particular number for my accounts payable. This is going to be an estimate. I'm going to look at my accounts payable report, and then I'm going to fill in these boxes, and I'm going to say, what do I have to pay, need to pay, want to pay? Okay, and this is going to start giving me what my total remaining cash on hand is going to be. And you can see that if I don't have any more money coming into my bank account, okay, if I only have what I have on hand and my undeposited funds, which is just money that's sitting on my desk to go to the bank, I will not have much money left to pay anything by week 3. How do I solve that? I make more money. I get more deposits. Pay attention to your revenue. Do something that's revenue relevant every single day, whether it's sending out your billing, making collections, knocking on doors, making phone calls, sending out emails, whatever it is that you need to do in order to start generating money for your business, you want to learn to pay attention to that. Some business owners, particularly in the early stages of their business, are shy about doing it. And yet business owners who have been in business a long time still may be shy about making phone calls to get their collections. Okay, they may not be comfortable about that. Get comfortable. Okay, keep putting money into that bank account so that you have your business expenses to pay. Okay. Okay, so let's take a little bit look at strategic planning. Okay, we're going to spend a little bit of time here. We'll do more on this on Thursday. The thing is that how are we going to absolutely start generating what we need to do, okay, to grow our business? Okay. So you're going to take your average monthly expenses and you're going to create that simple Excel type worksheet with columns for the next 6 to 18 months. All right, so that you can start seeing how you're going to grow your business. You want to determine how much revenue you absolutely are going to need to cover the expenses that you have to make, that you need to make, and that you want to make. And you can start plotting those out. And as I said earlier, this is that place where the rubber meets the road. Okay, this is not something you can wish and dream about. Okay, I love people who think, oh, I can manifest that. Manifesting doesn't mean just thinking about it. It means getting out there and rolling up your sleeves and doing the work and figuring this out. All of this stuff is learned. Every single bit of this stuff is learned. People who look like they're ducks sitting on the water and they're just calmly moving along, those little feet of theirs are just paddling like crazy. So be a duck. Get out there and paddle like crazy. Start figuring this out. Do not feel overwhelmed about it. It's just a conversation. You're going to find the obstacles. You're going to find the solutions. You're going to get busy fixing what's the obstacle that's in your way, getting over it, around it, through it, under it. I don't care. You're going to find a way. So determine which areas you can expect your expenses to increase, and they will increase. A lot of people have seen lots of increases this past year. Okay. The most common places for business owners is in advertising. If you're not making enough sales, maybe you don't have enough clients coming in your front door, then you need more advertising, whatever that advertising is going to be. And this can get pricey. So you're going to need some money to have available to pay for that advertising. Plan for it. People you hire to do advertising will not keep working for you if you don't pay them. That's just as important as your payroll. Pay for your advertising. Plan for it. Then you have your payroll. The rule about payroll is this, folks. Pay it on time, every time, pay all the taxes. I no longer encourage business owners to do the payroll in-house with just QuickBooks or some QuickBooks software or something. I really encourage business owners to use third-party services such as ADP or Sure Payroll, and my favorite right now is Gusto, and they will handle everything for you. They're very easy to use, and they will process the payroll, and they will take all the taxes, and they will pay all of the taxes, and they will file all of your reports on time. Trying to do it all on your own when you don't know how to do it. I don't know, how many of you are actually payroll clerks, have run payroll for 30 years? Okay, but that's not true for most of you. Then don't think you have to do it yourself. Paying for these services is worth the money. Learning how to get this done or hiring a payroll clerk, that's fine, as long as you pay attention to making sure the taxes are paid. That's part of your real obligation with cash flow management. If you're going to do in-house bookkeeping, in-house payroll, then make sure that your payroll taxes are being made, because the IRS and the Franchise Tax Board do not play well with others if you don't pay your taxes. It gets ugly fast. Okay, so payroll, maybe some equipment purchases, maybe insurance. These are places where you can expect your expenses to go up, and then figure out how you're going to manage them. Maybe a big purchase of an equipment, a vehicle, or some other equipment that you need for your company, even advanced computers and software. Maybe this is something you want for your business. Maybe you can put it on a credit card. Maybe you're going to need a loan to do it so that your monthly payment is less. This is stuff that you will be planning for. How do I solve this problem? Solve the problems one at a time. You'll figure out the solution because you'll have all this information surrounding you so you can use this to make your assessments of what you want to do. Okay, that you're going to go, oh, this is what my budget is showing. This is what I'm spending. This is where I have wiggle room. I don't have any wiggle room. What am I going to do about this? So you're just going to look at it, talk it out with somebody. The consultants over at Pace will work with you on this. Just talk with somebody about it. If numbers are not your thing, and that's fine if they're not your thing, get help. You don't have to do this all on your own. Find somebody that understands how numbers work and how they will tell you what's going on. Okay. I see a question from Jeremy. It says, are there specific payroll and accounting solutions you recommend for entertainment-based production companies? I hear Wrap Book is good. Don't know anything about that, Jeremy. Here's the thing and I love the question. Payroll services are designed to support any type of business, okay? ADP might be a little bit better if you need to have a certified payroll, okay? But certified payroll is actually run outside of the payroll. So you do the payroll, and then you have to fill out forms for certified payroll. So you just need the data and the information. As far as an entertainment-based production company, virtually any of the more popular softwares will get that job done. QuickBooks is still one of the premiums. I know that the price on it is higher. I mean, none of them are free. But you need them to be able to do all of the data, keep all of your data, provide the reports for you in a usable way. You want those reports where you can see them annually, comparison one year to another, comparison of a month to a month. I want to see the year in months. I want to see how I'm doing by week. What do I want to see? You as the business owner start saying, what is it that I want to see? And then you get the software that actually will provide that. QuickBooks will do all of that. Wave is doing a better job. I do have an accounting a little ebook on various accounting programs that you can certainly find me, and it's a download. It's a free download. So if you're looking at something that not a lot of people are looking at, look to see what it gives you in addition to all of the basics, the fundamentals. Keeps all the data, allows you to reconcile the accounts, gives you the reports, and keeps that data in a usable way for you. And if there's something more that you need that Wrapbook can do for you, then great. I have a company that's a pest control company. They use a product for pest controls that does their invoicing. So we don't see their invoices within the QuickBooks software that they're using. Everything is invoiced, and their accounts receivable is all managed by proprietary software. So if you have specialized companies, you want to look to see if there's something out there that will serve you. However, you still have to have all the fundamental pieces. So great question, Jeremy. Thank you for giving me a chance to answer that. Okay, so if you see that new expenses are coming your way, so get estimates on how much they will cost. This is something that early business owners have to do. The business plans have some real advantages, but one of the biggest, most powerful pieces on a business plan is going to be that financial plan. That's budgeting, folks. That's cash flow management. That financial plan is, how much money do I need, and how much money will I need to make in order to meet that need? And so it's not just the expenses of my business, it's also the cash flow for anything that's not on the expense side, the profit and loss side, that's on my balance sheet. Any money that I have to pay back, my credit cards and things like that. And then you'll see what I've been talking about. Start planning on ways to bring in more money. Okay, if it needs to be a loan, it needs to be a loan, but that's going to be a cash flow conversation. Figure out how to make money. And I will tell you that my second year in business was very, very interesting. It was also very exciting because I was going, okay, I need to make X number of dollars a day. Let's say I said, okay, I'm going to work 4 days a week. I need to make $200 a day. This means that I need to make $800 a week. And guess what? I don't know how to make that. I don't know how to do that. Okay, so I just started figuring out. I knew what my hourly rate needed to be. I knew how I was going to stay competitive. I also knew that what I brought to the table was really extraordinary. So I was at the very top of my industry at the time. I currently make 3 and 4 times what I was charging back then 15 years ago. So what you want to look at is like, what is the value you bring? How much can you charge for it? How much can you work? Who's your audience? How do I make more money? And at first, I didn't hit my target every day. I'd look at it and go, I didn't make my target. I didn't make my goal. What can I do tomorrow to hit my target? What can I do tomorrow to hit my target? And pretty soon, I learned how to hit my target. And that's part of what savvy business owners do. They start learning how to make money. Okay. And I want to tell you, people go, well, money shouldn't be the most important thing in the world. Okay. Have you ever tried buying groceries without it? Just ask them. Okay. So assess your cash needs. Now, maybe the easiest way to do it is to not start at the top, but start closer to the bottom. Okay. So let's say, what are my average monthly expenses? There it is. Okay. What are the expenses that I might need for growth? Okay, there it is. Do I have any other cash needs that are not on my profit and loss? That would be owner's draw. It would be my payment for a loan. It would be payment for a new vehicle. What are those things? And then I would go, okay, well, I know that my costs of goods, my inventory is going to be this amount of money. Maybe you don't have inventory. Well, fine, then it's just your total income is the same as your gross income. So you add up those items, all right? So you can figure out what your total cash needs are. All right? So this is another sample of a cash flow for growth, where you're going. So this is done over a year's, 6 months. Okay, this is a 6 month. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. So you're going to start filling in these blanks. I give you these samples because people go, I don't even know where to start. So these are starting places. You will refine it for your needs. So it's basically, if you don't know what something is, Google it, figure out what it is. What is that? What does that term? But most people understand what income is. They understand what expenses are. Again, remember, the expenses are the things that you need to run your business, whether you're making any money or not. And then you have your non-profit and loss cash flow items, which could be equipment. So this is your total cash needed for your business. Remember that there's going to be a tax conversation and money that you need to put into your own pocket. Okay, so these are all the things that you're going to be having these conversations about. You're going to just start looking at this and just start going, what do I already know? What do I need to know? What do I need to know? And then you're just going to start moving through these boxes until things start making sense. And you can remember that the up here where the income, these are going to be plus numbers, and these down here for the expenses, these are going to be minus numbers. Okay, so be sure that when you're inputting your data that you're paying attention to that, okay? And then just get your total formulas. If you don't know how to do an Excel spreadsheet or something like that, get someone to help you with it. Excel or any of those types of documents are really, really good then you can just change a number and move on and get help. If you're not sure how to do it, get help. Learning how to do this is so fundamental for a financially healthy business. And these are, again, just more samples. What are my total expenses? What are my total non-cash flow type items? What are those numbers? I'm going to fill in the boxes. Okay, so financial health analysis. Are your total cash needs for your business greater than your gross profit or income? That's a problem. If your cash needs are greater than your gross profit or income, you're upside down. What if you find that your total cash needs for your business is less than the growth, but not enough to cover your personal cash needs? Personal cash needs are important, folks. That's why we're in business. So absolutely, yeah, let's get these figured out. Let's do that analysis. Am I making enough money? That's really the question. Or are your total cash needs for your business less than your gross profit and enough to cover your personal cash needs so you can save, plan for the future, and live comfortably without money worries? That's ultimately the goal, folks. Some best practices, we'll go through these fairly quickly. Your cash needs become your revenue goal. Know what that number is. What is my revenue goal? Set weekly revenue targets. Use a simple dashboard once a week to review cash needed and to assess results. Assess all revenue relevant actions. What are you doing that are going to bring in money? Take all the necessary actions to bring in more money. Okay. And then repeat steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Revenue, the people say cash flow is king, and I'm not so sure revenue is king. Okay. Revenue rules. Block out time at least once a week to review your cash flow status. Update your dashboard, look at your bank account, review your accounts payable. Don't miss out payroll and auto payments. Okay. Block out time at least once a month, maybe once a week, to look at cash flow solutions. Review your accounts receivable, make necessary collections, prepare and send invoices, follow up on prospective clients. Hey, focus on goals, not obstacles. The purpose of budgeting and cash flow management is to help you take control of your numbers. It's not about scarcity. It's about abundance, making smarter decisions and running your business with confidence and peace of mind. Today's smart software makes light work of the record keeping, money management. It's never too early to get started. So there's the link. This will come in the PDF. You can click on this and it will get you the link to my free summary of today's accounting software that you might want to look at. Inspiration is not enough. Motivation is not enough. You must put in the work. Start where you are. Start with what you have and figure out what you need. Get started and do it now. Okay, so I believe this. The possibilities for having a life filled with purpose and financial success and joy are limitless when you know how to make and have money. I have a little ebook, another free ebook. There's the code for it. It's the Entrepreneur's Path to Financial Freedom. And I'm really glad that you attended today. We have a little bit of time for some Q&A. And so I hope that I have given you some information that's going to get you started, help you move forward, help you ask really usable questions, asking the right questions. It's really, really helpful for a business owner. Okay?
All right, Lona, thank you so much, folks. This is your chance.
This is your chance. Ask your questions. Uh-oh, crickets. I'm hearing crickets. I'm hearing crickets. Come on, people. I did answer a few questions as you went. So it's my pleasure to bring this to you. I know that these workshops are really information packed. They're not just let's look at one thing and do one thing. There's a lot of it really usable information here for you. This is why we really love having the recordings and you getting the PowerPoints, slide deck so that you can look at it again. But folks, I've done workshops for almost 16, 17 years now. And one of the things that really makes me a little crazy is people pick up their paperwork and their handouts and they walk out the door, and I can tell they're never, ever going to look at them again. This is not how budgeting and cash flow management work. This is not only information, it's a tool. And the only way you're going to get it using a tool is to by practice using it. Okay.
All right. Shanice asking, can the ebook link be dropped in the chat? Lorna, can we do that?
Do what? The link?
Ebook, yes.
The ebook. Yes, I can do that. I can absolutely drop that into the chat. Let me just get over there. Here. I believe that copy the link. All right. So this is the link to the path to financial freedom. Is a very, very popular download. The code for that to make it free is ebook 10. That makes it free. One person that picked it up from the last workshop said she didn't get it. If you don't get it, my email is there. Just email me, say, hey, didn't come through. Be happy to get it to you. Let me go. This one might be something else that people might be interested in. So let me grab this one. This is the guide to the bookkeeping and accounting software that's out there. There are lots of choices out there for you. Some are better than others. Please do not think you can run your business with Quicken. That's QuickBooks' first product that they put out. It's for individuals. It's not for business owners. Don't think you can run your business that way. I'm really adamant about it. People say, well, I've used it a long time and it works fine for me. Maybe. I'm glad that it does, but my experience with how it actually works is it commingles stuff. It is not going to be sufficient for a healthy business. So stop thinking that you can use it. People think, well, no, I'm fine with it. How big of a business were you thinking of having? Okay.
Quick last minute question, Lorna, sorry. There's a question from Aurelia regarding the rental properties. Would you recommend I budget for estimate approximate month? Units will maybe empty for repairs, etc.
So yes. So if you're fully booked, what would that rent look like? If you were down one unit, what would that rent look like? It says the code expired. Okay, I don't have another code. I'll have to figure out why it expired. Thank you, Eric. It shouldn't have. I will make sure that my IT person fixes that for us. Okay, I'll follow up with that today. So check back in again or email me and I will send it to you directly. My email is here on the face of the screen. So let me, here, if you're having any trouble with getting the products, let me grab that. This is my email. Guys need anything, have any questions, feel free to email me. Okay. So back to the questions about the rentals. So what you're talking about is predictable income versus fixed expenses. You know, there are certain things that your mortgage is going to be fixed. You're going to have to pay that whether the unit is renting or not. So this is a really great way to start going, well, if I have these many units rented, this is what the income is going to look like. If I only have this many units rented, this is what the income is going to look like. The ultimate fix for it is make sure that you're paying attention, okay, to getting the units filled. Can get out in front of it. That's why a lot of rental units have like a 30-day notice. Soon as you know that unit is going to be empty, you get on top of it. You get on top of it. So I didn't find your, I didn't see the exact question regarding that. Did I answer the questions? Did I answer all of the questions that you had that was part of that? If not, just re-put the question in that I'm missing because I got a little bit of time left here. I see another question. Let me see if I can go find that. I saw that.
There's a question from Linda. Starting my business from home and eventually will move into a business building space or building. Can these applications be utilized in the same manner to follow a budget?
I see it here.
Yeah.
Okay, starting my business from home and eventually we'll move into a business building space or building. Can these applications be utilized in the same manner? Absolutely. Absolutely. So it was a great question, Linda. So in your home, you're not going to break out the rent as an expense. But in thinking about moving into a space, now you're going to have a line item for the rent. You might have other items for the utilities or a separate internet or those kinds of things. As you're doing that strategic planning, that's where you're going to be adding those. And then we're talking a little bit more about how to do that, those kinds of things on Thursday. But that's exactly the right question. Asking the right question is very powerful for identifying what the answer you're looking for. And that's why I know that one of the things I do in my presentations is give you lots and lots of information because we don't always know the question to ask. So I want to be sure that you start having kind of like, oh, I think I heard that. And so there's lots of knowledge and information out there being shared with business owners. But if you're a newer business owner or you're entering a new phase of your business, you may not even know if that's the right information for your business. So really, I saw some good questions today that were more focused on their particular type of business. That's what you want to ask. What is it that I need to know about my business and where I'm at now? Start with where I'm at and then where I want to go. And then what new questions do I have that are related to that? So then you're looking at that. And that template that I gave you is a really great place to go, oh, I don't have rent right now. But oh, if I move, then I'm going to have rent. And so you might have a different section that says, what I'm looking for in 6 months, I'm looking to have to pay rent and utilities and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And then you can plot those out when you're doing that bigger template where I'm looking at multiple months instead of just weeks. Okay. Start with weeks though. Start with weeks so that you start getting a sense of it. You start building that muscle so that you understand how to use it a little bit. And then you'll start knowing what questions to ask and you'll know how to start looking for the answers and you'll start knowing who to ask. Asking the right person is also super important.
All right. Thank you so much, Helena. Unfortunately, our time's up.
My pleasure, folks. I will get that slide deck over to you and we will go from there, okay?
Yes, our next webinar is on Thursday this week. January
yes, it's on
15th at
Thursday,
10
same
a.m.
time.
Same time. We'll be covering forecasting and planning for growth. Hope to
Yep.
see everybody there.
All right. Perfect. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.